This week in disc golf, the sport had an unwatchable all-star event, highlighted with poor weather conditions, spotty coverage, and that was just for the fans who could get access to their new dgpt subscriptions. Also this week, Udisc released their latest disc golf health report, PDGA refusing to offer Udisc subscription discount to their members, and so much more. What's going on, all you disc generates? It's Swiss Cheese with the disc golf world. You guys already know the one with all the holes in his game, and you are watching This Week in Disc Golf, where we cover all things disc golf from the past week. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch, especially to those who have subscribed. Jefferson, the minivan, and myself are in Florida awaiting the start of the new season. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. It is the easiest way to help build the channel while also supporting us on tour. Make sure to check out all the content as we bring all the action from the road and tour stops to you. Everyone is excited for the season to start, but let's jump into that all-star recap first. As weird as it sounds that there is an actual professional sports league that kicks off the start of every new season with their all-star event, celebrating the accomplishments and seasons of players from the past year. On paper, that really doesn't make too much sense. But for a sport that flings plastic, it's okay to be weird and different from the rest. It's not like any all-star event across all professional sports is heralded as must-watch anyways. So there is no need to hold on to how silly it is to not have this event in the middle of the season. Simply, every all-star event is doomed from the start, as competition is put to the back burner. So for those still angry for not having this event in the middle of the season, simply call it what it is, a showcase. Now, prior to getting into some of the negatives of the event, let's cover some of the high notes first. To put it simply, this event was an improvement from past all-star events. Pulling additional players to participate in the skills competition was a brilliant move, and only made possible due to the dgpt moving the event to the same location as the start of the new season. It made it far easier for more player representation in the skills events, highlighting the best pros at their best skills, and the Lin twins were there also. The twins are fine players and might become a force in the FPO someday, but this definitely felt like this selection had the same optics of Christian Laettner on the Dream Team. Good and certainly not bad. When you see the other names left off the roster list, you question if there wasn't someone better. Both Haley King and Missy Gannon were on the property and would have provided more fireworks. Or keep the sisters theme and bring both the Monda Hanus. Yes, the Lin twins are from Florida, and it's great to represent some local pros, but both don't tour full-time, aren't big enough names yet, and neither are top talents in the skills events they participated in. There's a reason why I'm not mentioning Eliezer here. The skills events competition were improved upon from the same past events. Easier to follow, better rules, faster action, and to be fair, anything is an improvement from the clothesline accuracy from the first year. Now, why they led off with the distance competition and didn't hold off to the end is beyond me. That event, as far as viewing and enjoyment, just might be the best of the entire weekend. Expanding on this event is where the dgpt needs to steer towards. Expansion to highlighting accuracy along with distance could add some more drama. And who doesn't want to see a giant painted bullseye target for the pros to attack? Certainly would look cool on the drone footage that they obviously love to overuse. Yes, it's amazing watching Eliezer and Ella Hansen throw for over 500 feet, and Anthony Barella's 700 feet mark was truly insane. But you can't continue to roll out this event year after year like this, or it'll just become stale. It was an absolute poor decision to not continue with match play at the All-Star event. Understood that it could shorten the broadcast as some teams or individuals could be eliminated earlier in this format. But match play puts more at risk with every single throw. It's easier to follow and has more intrigue for the viewers. To make things worse, the play was marred with poor weather that made most of the coverage unbearable to watch. Those who did stay complained of rain hitting exposed mics, fogged up camera lenses, sloppy play, and Katrina Allen obviously continued slump. After an entire offseason to lock in her form and correct her game issues, at this point, her slump and poor play doesn't show an end in sight. For the team events, Missy Gannon and Isaac Robinson took down the victories and the cash prize. Barella and Midling took down the distance competition. Jessica Weiss and Chris Dickerson won the accuracy, while Owen Scoggins and Andrew Marweed captured the putting competition. The All-Star Weekend featured the new DGN 2.2 release also, which might have been the largest news that came out of the weekend and completely overshadowed the All-Star Weekend. Many had a number of issues with the coverage and quality. That was, if they could get it at all. Subscribers complained about not being able to use the app through specific providers like Xbox and Roku's. Some needed to refresh or restart their systems completely prior to gaining access, and others were left on notification pages not realizing they needed to click on the alert prompt. It resulted in many going to social media to complain of their issues. En masse, in fact, as even Jeff Springs was putting out fires on X and other social media sites. Not the start DGN was hoping for a mere week after announcing their tier and charge increases for this year's subscriptions. Simply put, DGN should have done a better notification and clarification to troubleshoot issues and easier navigation. Though some podcasts are looking to downplay these issues, Ultiworld and Charlie especially wanted to showcase that the coverage was an improvement from last year, highlighting the new pause and rewind feature and better overall quality. Certainly bold statements with the issues many faced. Charlie even went as far as saying people went into the coverage with negative thoughts and criticized those who were complaining, insinuating that it is foolish to expect the ease and functionality of Netflix, completely ignoring the fact that the monthly subscription for some now surpasses that of Netflix subscriptions. So yes, Charlie, with these charges, fans' expectations certainly increase, no differently than DGN's rates. And it's foolish to downplay or belittle fans' criticisms when they are not being met. With these rates, expectations only increase surrounding the entire coverage, functionality, ease of use, and especially quality. Did most expect some growing pains? Certainly. However, DGN not doing a better job in supporting fans and customer issues prior to the start of this event and during is something to be ashamed of. I expect the coverage will get better, and I support live as the best way to consume action of the sport. I myself have a subscription, but unlike others, I also understand that these rates, fans' expectations and complaints are going to be even more vocal than years prior. So DGN needs to do a better job of getting ahead of them. I can't wait for mid-season where calls for Nate Doss and Zoe Andike's removal are even louder than last season if those two don't improve. The Ultiworld podcast also had on Steve Hill, former PDGA employee, now with Udisc on the podcast. This was the first time outside Udisc's media statement that we got a better glimpse into the company's negotiations with dgpt, their future without being attached to professional disc golf, and some of the politics between them and the PDGA. Steve acknowledged that the DGPT simply wanted to go in another direction and saw the benefit of the DGPT further aligning with the PDGA. Said they were in constant negotiations up to October, trying to partner on for another year deal until DGPT informed them they were going somewhere else. He also addressed the accusations that Udisc was unwilling to share their data with the DGPT, which wasn't fully accurate according to him. Yet everything seemed very businesslike and the two simply couldn't get lined up. Went further into the loss of the DGPT should have minimal impact on revenue earned and ultimately gives the companies more resources to improve the app for the everyday disc golfer, which did have me interested in the differing directions Udisc can now go to help disc golfers like you and I, making me more excited about Udisc's future. Another very interesting point in the interview was some of the notes on the politics between Udisc and the PDGA, which definitely seemed to be more strained of a relationship. PDGA seemed to view Udisc business as a competitor, encroaching on their market space with unsanctioned events and scoring now. Hill even said that they were willing to offer a discount to PDGA members for no charge to the PDGA, which the PDGA simply refused. Why a nonprofit wouldn't offer a discount to their paying members simply to not align with Udisc makes no sense to many, including myself. Members of the PDGA should be outraged at this latest news, and it should be an embarrassment for the PDGA. That decision doesn't align with the principles of the PDGA, even if they view Udisc as a competitor, and is a poor look for the nonprofit. Look, I'll admit I'm not a PDGA member. The benefits of the PDGA is surrounded by tournament play, which is not how I enjoy playing disc golf. So why would I pay a yearly membership fee when I don't play tournaments and the organization hasn't given me any other reason or benefits to join? Sure, funds go into growing the game, but the PDGA has continued to fall short growing the sport with female and minorities especially year after year now. With disclosures like the Udisc discount, rule changes, further expansion and attachment to the DGPT, board member elections, and structure itself goes to show just how political the organization is, which like always only impacts the members. So I would rather not pay the fee, take that money, and grow the sport in my own ways, with this channel especially and more grassroots efforts like the other 87% of the players introducing someone new to disc golf. Udisc also released their disc golf health report that does show less of the doom and gloom that has been presented by many. It highlights the sports grew in courses installed, rounds played on Udisc, and growth overseas. There is certainly a dip in growth from what the sport saw from the COVID boom, but according to Udisc, the sport is still growing, just at a slower rate, which is something that needs to be highlighted. Now let's get to some quick hitters. Albert Tom entertained with a graphic tee. Grip and Paul Macbeth are releasing a new bag lineup, including one for traveling disc golfers. All the boys are caught hanging out with little Pablo. Gannon Burr is still growing per Adam Hammis. Speaking of Gannon, him and Alden draw on Gavin Babcock's PD. That thing is like a Banksy meets a Pollock meets a Warhol. Gilbert gets his white pants signed again. Haley is sweating on and off the course as she locks in her first Fortnite win on tour. Ledgestone has already ripped off video games, car manufacturers, and now DreamWorks with their latest Buzz release. Shit, Nate, get with the modern times and get OpenAI already. Drake Mon has a hairline fracture in his thumb and will have a late start to the season. That wraps up this week in disc golf. Make sure to check out Jefferson or I's daily recaps for each day of the Chess.com Invitational. And if you stayed this long and you aren't subscribed, make sure to do so. And while you're at it, like, comment, and share. And if you want more, check out all the previous episodes.